What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting installment of the ASOG Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Rondy Wooten. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Nintendo himself,
It's Jerel Rosebar. Hi.
Mr. JJ Relbrums, indeed. And we got to get you our once a year annual podcast recording. we went out for a pack of smokes, and surprise, we actually came back this time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it, I forgot the milk. I gotta go get that sometime.
Did you say a pack of milk?
Yeah, I forgot the milk. Jesus.
That's very Canadian. I think they sell packs of milk, bags of milk. Canada, don't come for us. You know what? Canada's not coming for us at all. I'm not. We don't even need to go there. But Canada is very content to be right where it is right now. um,
Happy where they are.
yeah. So the occasion, of course, is the rumblings about the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm trying to figure out if I should look at the C90 webcam or at the screen. I've decided the screen, and you're all just going to have to go along for the ride. But a Nintendo Direct happened a couple days ago now, so we are right on the pulse, 2 days late to talk about that. Even
That's
better,
right.
even better, I didn't watch it. I was supposed to. I told myself for the past 2 days, we're going to record today. I need to watch the Nintendo Direct so that I can come here from an educated standpoint and talk about the games that were revealed, talk about, what I'm looking forward to. And I didn't do that. But you know what? That's emblematic of my situation with Nintendo right now. Jerel, did you watch that Nintendo Direct?
I watched every second of it, and I was very much whelmed by it.
You were sufficiently whelmed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not underwhelmed, not overwhelmed, just whelmed.
right there in the sweet spot of perfect whelmnessness.
Yes.
Yeah, the fact that I wasn't excited to watch it kind of speaks volumes. To keep it 100, the last game I played on my Switch was Pokemon Scarlet. And not because I'm still playing it and enjoying DLC, but it was because it was the release week of Pokemon Scarlet. So whenever that game came out was the last time I fired up my Switch. Since then, I have sold my Switch. So, there was a long period of time of me not even using it. And then I played Scarlet when that came out for, 2-3 weeks, maybe a month at the most. And then I sold my Switch, and I just don't play it. I'm thinking
It came
about
out 3 years ago.
it came out 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Oh my gosh, we haven't had a.
2022.
That's insane. And then you said 2022, and I was like, oh, that's last year. It's not. Wow. Okay. So I haven't fired up a Nintendo Switch since 2022, but I did happen to see that they revealed Metroid Prime 4 and then some subtitle about it at the thing. It looked like it should have come out 5 years ago. It doesn't look graphically very impressive, but that's not a big deal. That's not really a Nintendo thing. But all the lead up and all the hype and that original reveal from years and years and years ago, where we knew it was a thing that existed and we were very excited about it coming out. I say, maybe there was no way to live up to that hype, but seeing that Metroid trailer or seeing that kind of playthrough, I was like, this is it. This was the game. But for me, the Nintendo is a Pokemon platform, so I'm strongly considering getting the Switch 2 specifically to play the Pokemon Legends ZA. I know it's going to be for the original Switch, but of course it's back compat. And being that I don't have a Switch currently, I would buy the Switch 2 and then buy Pokemon Legends ZA and play it that way. Is there something in specific, anything in particular that you're looking forward to that isn't Pokemon right now?
Well, it's mostly just the Switch 2 and the teaser of the new Mario Kart design for DK and what other things they might do for the new Mario Kart game. Um, Maybe a release of a new 3D Mario game because that's usually a new Nintendo console, so new Mario game. That's like a tradition almost. But I'm kind of wondering also, but this isn't game related, but this is Nintendo related. They also shadow dropped the Zelda movie coming out.
Right, yeah, live action.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do a Netflix series, but they're just gonna do a full length feature film. I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. Maybe that Michael B. Jordan could be Ganon,
I
or
was
they can
trying to
have.
say Link. Michael B. Jordan should be Link. I mean, you got, Snow White is actually Snow Beige. You got, Little Mermaid. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. They can make Michael B. Jordan Link. You know what I mean?
Ganon could be the fairy.
They could do anything. They could get the
Mhm.
man.
Nicki
I'm
Minaj could be Zelda.
Nicki Minaj could be Zelda or the Great Fairy or something like that. Nicki Minaj could be Tingle. You know what I mean? It's 2025. Anything can
Alien.
happen. Yeah. I am terrified of that Zelda movie. I mean, like, I would even say that I'm cautiously optimistic, but there's no optimism in my heart for that movie whatsoever. And this is before there's any casting done. I just don't know if you could do it well. And I think even if it's done well, Zelda has such a special place in people's hearts and minds. People have tattoos. It's like it's so deeply rooted into people's personalities and like their love of video games and stuff. I don't think, especially with, unlike Mario, because they did a Mario movie, people really liked it. But Zelda also has this like fairly rigid lore. And so I think you can't please everybody, obviously, but there's going to be a lot more to nitpick about getting a Zelda movie wrong than like, oh, this is fun. It's the Mario Kingdom. Mario did a thing. They got on the Mario movie about Chris Pratt being a voice or whatever. There's so much more to be critical about in a Zelda movie, down to like what hand he holds a sword with, or Zelda, just anything, or how Ganon looks, or who they casted for this or that, or this doesn't make sense chronologically because this Link is the same Link that did that, but there's like so much you could get into about that. Yeah,
Slippery slope.
yeah, it's such a beloved franchise that one, it being live action is already kind of like ugh. But then secondly, yeah, like it's a minefield as far as how you choose to deliver the narrative. And then yeah, how do you get around Link being a silent protagonist? I get it. Charlie Chaplin was a silent protagonist in his day, but again, it's 2025. Pokemon Scarlet just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to hear in the comments. This is a thing where we're given CTAs, so people a call to action, so people actually engage with the video. But I want to hear what people think about the Zelda movie. Are you going to see it? Yes. Are you going to hate watch it? Probably. Who do you want to see them cast as Link or Ganon or Sheik or Zelda or whoever? And then like, what are your feelings? You excited about it, or please don't make it? But that's a tough one. And yeah, you bring up an interesting point. I thought I heard that it was going to be like a Netflix series as well. But
Which it should have been if it was going to do that route.
You think that would have been a better option?
I feel like doing a series would be better than a movie, so that way you could do branching timelines or storylines per season.
Actually, yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. Castlevania was on Netflix, right? And that did pretty
Yep,
well. Was The Witcher? The Witcher's a Netflix series, isn't it?
that too.
Yeah, I do
Well,
think.
Mario could work for a movie because you just pick any story and just run with it, but Zelda has multiple storylines and timelines and narratives that you could do a full flank series with.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we'll see. I know Shigeru Miyamoto loves the podcast, and maybe
Yeah, he's a
maybe he'll check it out and adjust some things there, or maybe it's too late. Who knows? But yeah, they announced Zelda. They showed off Metroid. There was a game actually that I did hear about and am interested in and might play. It's not Super Nintendo, no pun intended. But ASOG co-founder Ramon Hilliard, viewers may remember him as the Madden Bully, from a video that I might link to refresh your memory. But there's this Marvel game where if I did my job right, I would have looked up the name of it so that I could talk about it, but I didn't. But it's a 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up, kind of like Turtles in Time, or more appropriately, like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends on like the NES or the Genesis. But it's like one of those Streets of Rage Double Dragon type Marvel games, and I saw Captain America, I saw Nova, I saw Wolverine. I don't remember the name of that, but it was, I believe, revealed during that Nintendo Direct, and that actually looks really cool. That's something I'd love to play. I could hop on, put 3 or 4 hours into to play through the whole thing. Probably not even that long. It's at least 2-player multiplayer. It'd be cool if it's 4 online, so you could do what you did with like TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which is a cool game. I also still want to play, and this is kind of getting away from Nintendo, but Rita's Rewind. But it's $40. You got to work with me. Come on now. That's Rita Repulsive. $40 for that? Can't do it. But
Can't do it.
can't do it. But that game looked really cool. So aside from like Pokemon Legends ZA, I was like, okay, yeah, that's something else I might want to play on the Switch. But dude, like Nintendo, flex, humble brag. Nintendo did invite me out to preview the original Switch, and then I was also at the Wii U preview event. They did not send me an email, a text, a smoke signal, nothing for this Switch 2 thing, because I haven't played Switch in a long time, and I don't have very many good things to say about their system aside from Pokemon was good. I don't play Mario. I don't play any of the other stuff, but the I, how do I? It's trophies, man. You gotta work with me on this one. I know they don't matter to a lot of people, but when I'm putting hours and hours into a game and it's cross-platform, and I say, well, if I play it on PlayStation, I can start getting trophies and there's like more to sink my teeth into and there's a platinum at the end of it. I need that carrot on a stick. And I think they're phasing out the Nintendo points or like the gold coins or whatever it is. And that was something I could kind of look forward to. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I need some kind of achievement thing.
They didn't phase it out. They more so just altered it. Like instead of the points being for specific games, it'll be the game of the week or the game of the day. You do this in this game, you get points to get a new avatar.
Hmm.
Mm,
That
I
nobody
mean,
really sees. Yeah.
they really don't. And plus, you have to be a Nintendo Online member to even do it.
That's fine. It's like if it's still $20 every 15 years, then I mean Nintendo's got a great price on their online subscription because they figured out the internet in 2010. But
Doubtful.
there's a separate phone apps for you to do voice chat. Is that still how that works? That's
Yeah, they still have that,
buddy. What are we doing?
but there is a much more successful app that people can use for voice chatting on Nintendo, and it's
Discord?
called Discord.
It's called Discord.
It's
Yeah.
a fantastic product.
Wild, absolutely wild. But I think there is some kind of a charm to that because with PlayStation and Microsoft or PlayStation and Xbox, however you want to look at it, um, everything seems to be like a games as service. It's like they just Trojan horse a cash shop into your living room, basically. Everything's all about like how do we get microtransactions into this game and pad the game time like something like Marvel, oh my gosh, Marvel Avengers or whatever, where it was a perfectly competent game for like the 6 to 8 hours of story content you'd play, but then it had to be a looter shooter. It had to be like the Division or Destiny, where you just sink like a non-specific amount of time into it for months because they just want you to be enticed to buy things, so that instead of a $60 game, it's actually a $2,000 game or however much you're putting into it. Everything's a battle royale, with Apex and Fortnite and all these other games that are out there. People are going to be mad that I didn't say their favorite game, but like, yeah, or what's that, Concord, or yeah, Marvel Rivals. There's that one where every time I think Apex, it's actually the other game that I'm thinking about, but I can't even remember it right now. Valorant. Thank you.
That
Um,
game is irrelevant.
yeah, I guess. But yeah, everything is like that. And there's like Hyperscape and other games that have just come out that are so similar. And yeah, I know Fortnite's on Switch, but like Nintendo is not in that realm of how do we like maximize return on investment and maximize revenue, and how do we monetize this, that, and the third. So their online price is $20 because they're not really focusing on online play, and they still drop games for game's sake. Like, we want to make a really good game that's fun, and we want to come up with this novel idea, even if it makes the game not so great or whatever. So I still love that they're a gaming first company and not like, they're not just money by any means necessary. Don't get me wrong, they're a business. They've got billions of dollars. But I think I've always admired, that their heart's in the right place. Uh, but that also is why I don't primarily play their system. It's this weird catch-22. I mean, gamers vote with their wallet, and they've paid for Call of Duty and WWE 2K and whatever they're calling FIFA these days, and like just trash iterations that come out every year that are low-effort cash grabs. And if you're gonna spend billions of dollars telling gaming companies that that's what you want, then that's what you'll get. So it's like I could sit here
Mhm.
and say I just want to play a good game that's offline, but as a spending habits would prove otherwise, I guess. And we're getting away from the Nintendo stuff. You said something to me before we rolled, and I was like, save that. A rumored release date for the Nintendo Switch 2. I want to hear what that is, and then I want to tell you a little bit about my thoughts on the Switch 2's price point and release date and why. But what was that rumored release date?
Now, my conspiracy theory was that this direct for the Nintendo Switch was low key the actual release date, like they were going to do
Sega
after the
Saturn
direct.
style.
Yeah, they were going to say direct over. You can buy a Switch 2 today, but from what I'm hearing, is that it'll be launched sometime in June.
I agree. Um, it would be incredible if they launched it live, but I think a huge misstep just because the Sega Saturn did that. And
Hmm.
they got on stage at, I think it was like a precursor to E3, maybe. But I think it was at CES or something. But they did that. And it was like, and you can buy it right now. And that didn't perform well. But because everybody's there, they can't buy it. What are you talking about? But here's what I think. I think you're right about June. I think it's going to be June 6th. It's kind of like whack to have like a, but if not, then the 13th, like a week later. It's got to drop on a Friday. June 6th is the first Friday after their Nintendo Switch like tour, where they're doing like the Switch hands-on thing. That would be the first Friday after that. Um, you got to imagine that if the Switch tour, where you're previewing it and getting hands-on with it, uh, they're not going to release the system and then still have people going to these events to like try it out. At this point, you can buy it, get it into your house, right? So, and I think the last day for that Switch preview tour is June 1st. June 1st or 2nd. The last stop is in South Korea or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense for them to drop the system prior to them wrapping up that preview tour. So that puts it in June, that automatically. Now the Switch 1 was previewed, was like unveiled like January 2nd or January 11th. Yeah, it was revealed January 11th. January 11th is when we got the price point and when they told us that it was being released on March 2nd, March 3rd. And that was like roughly 2 months after they revealed it. So we got this direct April 2nd. 2 months from that puts us in June. 2 months and some change, June 2nd, June 6th, we get a release date. So ASOG did correctly guess or whatever, the prophesize the release of Mortal Kombat 1. That happened. No one watched it, but it happened. um, and I want to put it on the record that I think that the Switch 2 is coming out June 6th. And, if it's June 13th, just remember I already said that. But if I want to grab. Yeah, I
If,
just. It was the Switch was revealed January 11th, released March 3rd. Switch 2 reveals April 2nd. I think it releases June 6th. I expect a $399.99 price point. I think that's generous because I want to say the OLED released at that price. Was the original Switch $299? I don't really remember.
yeah, well, no,
Or three
I
ninety
think
nine.
I want to say 399
Okay.
at launch.
And then what, $349 for the OLED? I remember the OLED was like $50 more. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Um, I
this is talk about 2017.
Yeah, I don't see Nintendo releasing a system for $500. I think $399.99 is where they're going to put it. But there are a couple things that complicate that because Nintendo historically has always sold their consoles at a profit, whereas like the PlayStation and Microsoft systems, they sell at a loss. They make it up with the microtransactions, with the accessories, with the online membership. So just rough numbers. If it costs Sony $1,000 to make a PlayStation, they sell it to you for 600 or 700. They're eating that money, but then they're getting it back every time you're subscribing to PS Plus, which you pretty much have to. They've even got extra tiers now. You're buying PSN currency or whatever it is that you're doing. You're buying a controller. You're buying this, that, and the third. They make that money back. Tenfold probably. And Nintendo says we're going to spend $300 making this thing, and we're going to sell it to you for $350 or $400. They want their money up front. But with that being said, releasing it at $400 might not accomplish that in an age where right now there's like these tariffs, and again, it's all like political BS. But depending on how challenging it is for them to manufacture the thing and how costly it is with these chipsets coming from like Taiwan or wherever they're coming from, if it costs Nintendo too much in taxes and tariffs and in import or export or whatever to manufacture the thing, then they're just forced, if they still want to sell it at a profit, to jack that price way up. if they are content to like for the first time sell their console at a loss, then they can sell it for 400 just to make sure it sells. But that would be like historic, just because they would finally be selling at a loss. But if they want to continue to sell at a profit and it's prohibitively expensive to do so because of the parts, then I don't know how they navigate that. But all that said, I think June 6th, $399.99. Put a lock on it. But you know what? We'll see. We'll see what happens there. You have any ideas on a price point?
Yeah, 399 sounds about right.
Damn.
I
All
was
right.
I was getting ready to say, if anything, max will probably be 450,
Yeah.
but yeah, 399 sounds about right.
Yeah, 449.99. Just I feel like it's gonna be on the 99, like 399, 499. I don't see 599 happening, but like if not 399, I think 499. But I just like Nintendo releasing the Switch 2 for $500 seems crazy to me. I mean, it's not. Sony wants you to buy like a PS5 Pro for $1,000. So they could say, hey, it's $600 and it's still hundreds of dollars cheaper than the competition. But something in my head just says Nintendo announcing a console for $600 is ludicrous.
It
Like,
doesn't even sound right.
yeah, right?
It
That
sounds
just doesn't work.
off-brand.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna see June 6th or 13th, and I think we're gonna see $400. Um, Launch, I don't know if we have our launch window of games, but there's that Mario Kart, which I don't know if it has a name yet. Mario Kart Switch, Mario Kart 9, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Plus Ultra. I don't know. Pokemon Legends ZA is still slated for late 2025, which I find actually fascinating because if the Switch 2 comes out in June, then that's mid 2025. I mean, you can call it however you want, but it's definitely not late. So it sounds like ZA comes out after the Switch 2's launch. I wouldn't use that late 2025 as a bellwether for when the Switch 2 comes out. I don't think there's any plan to have ZA come out in time with the Switch 2. There's no reason to do that because it's not a Switch 2 game. So, like,
They need to do a release on the regular Switch and then maybe a year later do a port to the Switch too with updated visuals or whatnot.
if Pokemon cared about updating their visuals, Scarlet and Violet wouldn't look the way they do. So, no.
Yeah, they
But,
don't care.
but
But when they give you new Pokemon Snap and they give you that,
yeah, yeah.
then
It's rough. I mean, even like Tears of the Kingdom, like yeah, the Pokemon Company, it's a better like corollary because it's the same company. But there's something to say about the fact that it's the Pokemon Snap's like on rails, and so everything can be rendered beautifully because everything's like a vertical slice as opposed to it being this open world game. Therefore, everything has to like it's just as more difficult to animate a game of that scale. But no excuse because yeah, Tears of the Kingdom exists. Games of that scale exist. Grand Theft Auto 5 exists and has for 30 years. But but you can still do it. You can have it both ways. Like you can have a game of that scale, the Fallouts and Witchers or whatever, and still make it look way better than you made that game look. So that's that. It's inexcusable, honestly. But
you mentioning Grand Theft Auto just put a nerve in my head too, because I just realized that you weren't exaggerating with that 30 years comment. Because I remember when GTA 5 first launched, I remember it as a 22-year-old man, me getting that game, and now here I am sitting 33 years old with GTA 5 still the main game.
yeah, man, I might have to put a timestamp on this for 23 minutes 56 seconds because I had like the dimensions around our window, and if that just makes it to the final video, then it's in the final video. But 23 minutes in, it'll go away. Um, yeah,
Oh
the
my goodness.
the Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. That was like you might have already said the date. I was
December
starting
2013.
2013, right? That tracks because I was working at GameStop at the time, and then I took like a 2 year or 1.5 year like stint between that store closing and me hopping to another store, and so I remember that was 2013, and that was prior to the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One, because
I
those came
love
out November of that year, right? So yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out as a PS3 game, and then we got the PS4 like 2 months later, and then they made a PS4 version, and now here at the PS5, and then the PS5 Pro or whatever, this PS5 Slim is out, and we're still on the same iteration of that game. 12 years? Is that how that? No, whatever. Math is hard, but
Yeah, that's 12 years. 12 years.
okay, beautiful, saved me. But it just doesn't feel right? Because it feels like it was 5 years ago. But
When you look at the past, we got GTA 3, and then 1 year later,
mhm.
Vice City, and then 2 years later, San Andreas. 4 years later, GTA 4. So that's four GTA games in a span of what, 10 years?
Yeah. Now, I mean, and you're not even counting like Chinatown Wars or Liberty City Stories, Vice City
Yeah.
Stories, games like that. And then, yeah, there's also, I mean, I don't know. Those exist. Those are good. I know people love those. Um, big difference, of course. I mean, yes, the cost and time associated with making these games has just gotten like bigger and bigger and bigger. You're seeing layoffs and all sorts of stuff. I mean, not with Rockstar. They just acquired another company recently, or they purchased a studio, which is crazy. Rockstar as a game developer moves the way like Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo does. Like they're their own conglomerate. It's really crazy. They really have. It's like a self fulfilling prophecy. They're like rock stars in the industry, but there's like the rules don't apply to them. Like you got like Ubisoft out there. Like you have to release a game every year to sell the new thing and bring in more revenue and get the cash shop going. Even somebody like Naughty Dog, where they don't necessarily release a new game like the last like Last of Us and Uncharted, they don't come out like at a rapid clip like that. But Last of Us 2 has been released like 4 times now. It's like Last of Us 2, then Last of Us 2 remastered, then another version of it instead of the PS4, it's a PS5, and then there's the. They just kind of. Nathan Drake has like the Nathan Drake collection, and then like the spin off. So it's a way to. You don't have to go back and do all the work from the ground up. You repurpose assets, add a couple things. You don't have to bring the voice actors back in. You don't have to build new assets, really. You can just kind of repurpose and repackage things every 2 or 3 years just to show signs of life in your studio. So it's a very like low cost, potentially high revenue plan there, which makes total sense. But Rockstar is like, you'll wait, you'll get it when you get it. Now, not to ignore the fact that they have GTA Online, which probably made it so that they didn't feel like there was any rush to drop GTA 6. Because they said, why? You guys are going to play GTA Online for 12 years. You guys are going to, well, it didn't launch with online, but you get me, for like over a decade. And you're going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on this platform. I'm almost surprised they're releasing GTA 6 because there's really no need when you can iterate on the online feature. But I guess, if you're making it in a better engine, because it is still all built on the bones of a PS3 game, so you do kind of want to modify. Also, if the online clients are separate, then everyone who's already spent like multiple thousands of dollars in shark cash on GTA 5 now has to move over to GTA 6 and reinvest. So you're getting that customer again, which is crazy to me. And then of course in the 12 years time, there are kids that were not old enough to buy the M-rated game that are now graduating from college, and which is insane, and can
You were in
become customers.
kindergarten in 2013. You are now a senior in high school, and the game is still relevant.
Absolutely ridiculous, absolutely crazy. But yeah, that there's a kid out there that's like, wow, I got voting rights and the ability to drink alcohol legally before GTA 6. But
I went through my entire grade school career before GTA 6.
yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Unbelievable. And
Um,
speaking of GTA 6,
yeah,
it's just altering all of 2025's games release because everyone is just waiting for them to shadow drop that date. Even though I kind of have a feeling I know when the date is coming out based on how Rockstar releases Grand Theft Autos.
okay,
They usually do it on a theme, but and if they do it on that consistent theme, then everyone should be looking at October really,
yeah.
because that's when San Andreas came out. That's when Vice City came out. Basically, every Grand Theft Auto game came out in October outside of 5 and 4.
You are incredible about game release dates and stuff like that. Always have been. I have to have cheat sheets, but yeah, I mean that's something to definitely look at. Um, do we? Did they say it was 2025, or did they say okay? Okay, so That is very interesting. It's coming in 2025. If it's coming out in September, October, November, within that window, within the autumn window, you know, then I'm surprised we haven't seen here's another teaser trailer, or here's like a character thing, like here's a little 2-minute video that revolves around this main character or this person, or here's a little 30, something like that, where they're kind of giving us breadcrumbs up to the lead up. But again, they're Rockstar. They don't have to. I mean, things like that cost money. Things like that take time. And everybody who's heard of it and is interested is going to buy it, regardless of what they show us. I guess there's no need.
Trailer and just dipped out.
Yeah, that's all you need. And everybody else will like wait with bated breath for you to finally put it on store shelves. You really don't have to do anything. They could have just put like a big Roman numeral 6 and then said 2025, and that's it. You don't even need to show gameplay. People will pre-order it. Like they've really worked themselves into this position where it's like they can do no wrong, and that's hilarious to me. If that game is not like super well received, I would be shocked, and it would be it would also be kind of disappointing. Like I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since San Andreas. That was the last one I played.
The best one.
Yeah. It's not my favorite. Vice City is my favorite. San Andreas, I am bothered by, if you don't actually work out or eat, stuff like that. All that really simsy, micromanagey stuff gets on my nerves. I also prefer
That was the best one, not my favorite. It was the best one.
Yeah. The soundtrack is, I prefer Vice City soundtrack, but Vice City does have that weird like heat, like I don't, the mirage kind of, it's just weird. It's like blurred. The saturation is weird in that game. People forget about that. So that's a little not.
It seems bigger than it actually is.
Yeah. Not even like the fog, but that too. But it's like this haze. It's weird. Everything's like pink. But yeah, I just love Vice City. San Andreas did improve on a lot of on the formula as a whole, but the little bit of like realism that they added, I was like not in for. 4, honestly, the real turnoff was putting the accelerator on R2. I can't. I need it on X, and that changed radio stations, and I was like, I'm out. Can't play it.
You can switch it, right?
You know what? No. But you know what? Couldn't play it. Too late now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No, you can't. But so I dropped the franchise because of that completely unchangeable feature.
That's sad that you dropped that one, because that one is my favorite Grand Theft Auto. It's
Yeah,
4.
they should have put accelerator on X, and they didn't. They didn't. That was the original death of X before we lost DMX, and I think GTA 4 had something to do with that. I really do. And we'll get our top guys on that, I'm sure. But
Yeah, Ray's on it immediately. Ray and Tom, he's got it.
yeah, Ms. the Twista. Shout out one time to Ms. the Twista, who had
They got
absolutely
something.
nothing to do with the passing of DMX.
He didn't.
Uh,
Allegedly.
Officially, allegedly, purportedly, ergo, vis-a-vis, concordantly, Mojo Jojo. Um, yeah. So I don't even know how we got to GTA 4, but yes. Okay, because I'd be surprised if GTA 6 didn't take over, because every GTA kind of tends to dethrone the one before it. We all have our different favorites, and there's nostalgia and there's stuff like that. But it's not like a franchise where people stay on the old one and say, oh, the new one's trash. Like, with Call of Duty, people are like, yo, like, when are they going to get back to Black Ops? Black Ops 2 is the GOAT. People have their favorites and they stick to them and they drop a franchise. Assassin's Creed, for the longest time before like Odyssey and Valhalla came out, it was like Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed. With Zelda, it was always, until Breath of the Wild came out, people would always tell you Ocarina of Time is the best one. And there are still people who will say that. But Grand Theft Auto is like, when a new one comes out, you pick up the new one, and that's the one you play. You don't play it for a couple days and say, man, this isn't as good as the old one. I'm going back to the old one. That's just something that's never happened with that franchise. You might go back a few years later, or you might have like your nostalgic take on it and say, man, I love Vice City, but you still play the new one, and that becomes like your main game. You finish it, you play it for months, years, and then you go back later if you feel like it. But every Grand Theft Auto kind of tops the last one in that way. for the majority. And so, yeah, there's not a lot of people out there that are like, nah, man, I still wake up every day and play San Andreas. Miss me with GTA 5. It ain't hitting. It just doesn't happen.
Me.
But
I actually prefer San Andreas to 5. I still play San Andreas over 5 to this day.
man, yeah, you're the demographic. But all they had to do was follow the
Follow
damn
the
button
bad
scheme.
streak.
The button scheme of the that's all they had to do, man. It's right there.
I'll
Uh,
have 2 number 9s.
yeah.
Number 9.
This is also why I dropped Gran Turismo because they moved the accelerator to R2. It's like, come on, bro. Like you gotta stop with
Really?
that.
Like
You
you actually.
Yeah, because I get in my car and press R2. Spoiler alert, I don't drive. Second of all, what was it, Men in Black 2, I want to say, where they get in the flying car and a PlayStation 2 controller drops down, and that's actually how they control it. When is that coming? I'd drive if I could control my car with a PS5 controller. I
But
would,
they
I,
make you R2 instead of X.
man, we'll get flying cars controlled by PlayStation controllers before we get GTA 7. Mark my words.
Well, I'll die before you get GTA 7.
Yeah, fair. Mark my words. And speaking of Mark, a little teaser. We're going to have Markrosoft, hopefully, if schedule permitting. We want to have Markrosoft on the podcast. I don't know if he still wants to be called Markrosoft, but Mark Ignacio will be joining us again to talk about the Switch 2 after it gets revealed. So we'll have the price point, we'll have the release date. As of now, we don't, but I'm still thinking, hey, $399.99, June 6th or 13th. We'll see. Do you think Grand Theft Auto 6 has a ghost of a chance of coming to the Switch 2?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I don't think the Switch 80 can handle this game.
No, I think if it comes, it'll look like the ports that they released of Vice City and San Andreas. Those like really terrible, like the ones that were
The ones and yeah.
outsourced to like that random developer in India or whatever. That was so bad. That was pretty bad. The PS2 versions look better. I'm not being facetious. They look better on the PS2.
It does. They should have just re-released that as is instead of this
Yeah,
updated crap.
don't even update it. Give us exactly what it looked like. You could put it in 3x5 letter, whatever you want to do. Just give me that, and it's fine.
That's why I was glad I bought those games on Steam because they're the classics,
Yeah.
and I have them forever.
Yep. And I think what are we, like 37 in? I think people have heard from us enough. They checked out in the 3-minute mark. And if I left the oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. If I left the XY like all the nonsense on the screen and it's in the final, you know what? Then maybe you just couldn't bear to watch it. And if I didn't get my microphone input right, then again, it's scuffed. But that's how we do it. That's how we do it. I want to hear from everybody. When do you think the Switch 2 is coming out? How much do you think it's going to cost? Are you going to buy it? In addition to that, I had a question about the Zelda movie. Are you excited about it? Do you think it's going to be good or not? And what's your dream casting for that movie? Jerel, is there anything you want to know from the audience?
I would like to know if anyone can accurately guess GTA 6's release date. I will give you an all expense paid trip to youtube.com/a state of gaming. All expenses paid on me if you can guess the accurate date of the release date for it.
He will
That's
cover
submit the release date to Facebook's page and put it in our comment section. All right?
he will cover the cost of your viewing experience. He will cover it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I'll
Wow.
pay for your subscription.
I'll pay for your subscription. You know what? Yeah, we'll pay for your free subscription. We can't afford that, but we'll pay for it. Alrighty. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to the ASOG podcast. We will see you hopefully, schedule permitting. It is on what is it? April 2nd. After the Nintendo event. Well, we're gonna have to digest it and get Mark on, so maybe April 3rd. You'll see it sometime shortly after that Nintendo Direct. We will get back together and kind of compare our predictions to the truth of the matter, and then talk about things that were revealed along with the console itself. But until next time, I've been Rondy Wooten.
I'm Jerel Rosebar, reminding each and every one of you to make good choices.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.